Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture, and also welcome back to the 6th episode of Throwback Thursdays. So, in this episode, we're going to be going over the iconic, the legendary diva of my favorite diva, one of my favorite divas, Janet Jackson, and her third album called Control. This one came out in 1986, and the reason I chose this one is because it was a very iconic direction of where she was going, where she became more in control of her everything, like her look, her sounds, her albums, her style, her vocals, like everything was under her control. For the first time, after the first two albums that didn't really go, that weren't commercially successful, due with that, including the fact that she was under her manager, her creative manager, everything about what she was doing musically was going under her dad, Joe Jackson. And we all know his history. He has a long history of abuse towards the Jackson kids, including, and also very, very control freak, like a huge control freak. So yeah, and it got to the point where she even became more rebellious about it too. She ended up marrying James DeBar, who's actually one of the members of the DeBar group, and unfortunately that didn't go so well because he also was doing some drug abuse and was all over the place. So she pretty much she had an annulment for that towards that marriage. So yeah, this album is just amazing. It has a lot of songs that I already knew already, so more just kind of digging into like information behind it. So yeah, and also this is also the first album that she, at age 19, fired her own dad and got a different manager, John McClane, and got new producers going by Jimmy Jam. I can't talk today. Blah blah blah. Jam and Terry Lewis. So, and there's so much more. So even including that, on top of that, she did a new sound, which was the first, where it originated. The origination of this sound, that's not a word, of New Jack Swing was happening in this album. This is the first time we got that sound before anything else. So it moved so many mountains, and a lot of female rappers, a lot of female black singers really leaned into this album because it pulled in so much like empowerment. It's so amazing. So let's just get right into it. So we're gonna start off and say that pretty much the majority of this album I loved. Almost every single song I loved, except for You Can Be Mine. I could not get through it. I did get through it, but I couldn't deal with it because it got way too repetitive. You can be mine, you can be mine. It's just like, it just happened over and over again, and it felt like it was just empty space was just happening in this song. And then there's some parts where there's a guitar solo, which is really nice. And in the middle of the guitar solo, she's like talking about jelly beans, and so it's like, okay. But let's get into the songs that I really, really, really liked. Was Control, of course. I love the fact that she started off with Control, and just immediately letting you know, like, this is a different direction of where I'm going with my album, with my style of this album. Like, it's nothing gonna be anything like Dream Street or my self-entitled album. Then it goes into Nasty, which talks about the harassment that she gets from men when she's walking down the street, and that's in self-empowerment direction about like, I know what I like, I know what I want, and I'm not gonna be disrespected. Pretty much claiming her own self-respect, claiming her own respect from other people, and it's just amazing. Going into What Have You Done For Me Lately, we get deeper into the direction of her talking about James DeBarge and the whole marriage and how it really went, because as much as they did end the marriage, there was a piece there during the marriage, there was a piece of it where it's just like shit was going wrong. A lot of things were going wrong in this song, which is like, she's like, what have you done for me lately? What have you done that shows that do you love me, that you're into this, you know? And it felt like she's like, I do all these things, and if it wasn't for us, it wasn't for me cooking, we would starve to death, you know, because he doesn't really do stuff, and he used to do stuff in the beginning, but he's not doing anything anymore. Then we go into, well, You Can Be Mine, we'll skip that, and then we go into Pleasure Principle. It's an amazing song. It's an amazing song. It's great. It was actually one of the, I want to say it was the first song that officially got me into Janet Jackson. I think so, because I feel like I've heard her song throughout my whole life, but I felt like around 14, 13 is when I actually listened to this song and watched the music video, and I was like, oh, this is it. I am so sold on Janet Jackson. This is it, you know? And I love the music video. I love the song. I love the idea that she's talking about the idea that what she thought was a good romantic thing that was happening was just completely not really what's going on. Very temporary. As she says, what I thought was happiness was only part-time bliss. And I think that in this direction, she's also claiming her self-worth, what she believes she should have, that she's deserving to have to herself, and what she deserves to have is somebody that she can vibe with, that actually is on the same level with her, and not some other different direction, that have complete different like mindsets, and she doesn't like that. She wants something else. She wants something better than that. Going into He Doesn't Know I'm Alive was really cute. I love the sax in the beginning. The idea that she wants to talk to this guy, and she figured out how to have his number, which I'm sure Yellow Pages helped that. But she calls him, hangs up, she goes to his house, he answers, looks at her, she's like, oh my god, I thought this was one of my friend's house. I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave. And it's just like, she never ends up talking to him specifically, like, about her feelings, and it's so cute. Going to Let's Wait a While, one of my other favorite songs. I love this song. It's pretty much the slow, I personally think I love her fast songs. Oops, got a little issue there. I love her fast songs, but I adore her slow songs. Her slow songs, just like, it's her song, she has great vulnerability in her voice, and I think it just matches so nicely. But this one's really nice. This actually was a song that was co-written with a writer named Melanie Andrews, who pretty much was talking about her conversation that she had with her boyfriend back in teenage when she was in high school, talking about abstinence, and she pretty much was talking about like wait a while and everything, and I think that that's what this song came into. Weirdly, I also found the fact that it was also being promoted for dealing with the AIDS epidemic that was happening at that time. So telling the person to let's wait a while, which wasn't really the factor of what was going on here. So it's just like, I don't know. It sounds a little off to say like, oh, we're gonna promote this song that's gonna be talking about abstinence. And it was like, I mean, I think a lot of us already did it. It's more of the fact that we're supposed to be more aware that there's a disease going around, you know? Going into the next song is funny how, I skipped another song. When I Think of You is another song, and I really, really love it. I love the sound. Everything is great about it. It just talks about how she loves this guy and just everything that, like, anytime she feels down, she just thinks of him and everything's alright. And finally, the last song, which I really want to talk about, which, funny how time flies when you're having fun. Did not know what was going to happen to the song. I never heard the song in my life. And when I first heard the song, the fact that it had a French intro was really nice, but it reminded me of something. I immediately had this, I thought for a minute, because I was listening to it from Spotify, and I always do this thing where I put things on cues. And so when I heard that the French intro, I was like, did it go to Tinashe? Did it go to Tinashe? Like, I like that song. How many times? Love that song. But did it go to that song? But it did not. Don't mind. There's a fucking rooster across, in the next door neighbor's house. Where was I? Like, it was not her, of course. It was the song. She sampled pretty much the majority of the song on that song. And I'm completely shook. So, dividing those two, listening to the song, it sounds so sexy, and I think it's the first opening where you get to see Janet actually be more sexy. So you're taking, not only is she taking back, now she's taking back her sexuality, and it's just every single song feels like it's doing that. Every single song is control of certain things, control of how she feels about things. And I know that he doesn't know I'm alive, and when I think of you, or two things that don't really touch on those things, but I really feel like the other songs really go in hard about self-worth, dignity, self-esteem, confidence. Like, everything is in that, and I love that. And I love this song. It's really nice. I want to point out that the melody sounded a lot like Night and Day by I'll Be Sure, and I feel like, as much as it never listed that was a sample from either or. Well, I know that I'll Be Sure was later on, but there's no sampling saying like, oh, this song was sampled by sampled from the J-Lo from the Janet Jackson song. It didn't say that, which is kind of weird because they sound pretty like the same. So comment below what you thought about that. I think there's some mistake in that direction. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I love this album. I give it a 9 out of 10 only because I'm talking it down from You Can Be Mine. And partially, he doesn't know I'm alive. I do like it. It just didn't add anything to the momentum of what was going on in this song, album. Leave a comment below. Tell me what your history with Janet Jackson or your history with Control. Tell me about it. I would love to know. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video, and hit like button, and also hit this, I cannot talk today, and hit the notification bell so you can get more of my videos. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.